I'll just work it for you guys. Oops. This is on.
What about Kevin?
Kevin?
Yeah.
Kevin's
Okay.
ego needs it.
I hope I don't break the chair.
Okay. Where's the signal coming from to start?
The what?
Oh, that's it. Okay. We're good.
Good to go?
We can start.
All right.
Woo-hoo.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome. We're at WPPI.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming out to the Portrait System podcast live at WPPI. My name is Kevin Conde, and I'm here with my co-host, Ashleigh Taylor. Ashleigh, how are you doing today?
You know that I'm doing great, Kevin. I'm so excited to be here with all of you at WPPI in Las Vegas. This is so fun, doing our show with a live audience like that we can see instead of on Clubhouse. It's so cool. So just so you guys know what we're doing today, so we're gonna be recording a podcast episode, and we have a lot of great guests from our community, and we're gonna be asking some serious business questions, but we're also gonna keep it fun today because we're in Vegas and ask some fun questions as well.
Exactly.
So are we ready to get started with our first guest?
Ready to go?
Okay, well,
Get
she's
going.
right here, Rachel Owen. She's an award-winning photographer. She's so amazing. She also sometimes judges here at WPPI, and we're so lucky to have her here.
Woo!
Thank
you.
So, to start it off, Rachel, we're going to ask, tell us a mishap that you've had on a photo shoot.
Okay, so this was early in my career. Photography is the only job I've ever had, so I started at age 17. And I worked for one of the big studios in the mall, and it was film at the time, so early 2000s. And we had medium format cameras. We had 9 shots on a roll, and you were allowed 1 roll per session. So in nine frames, you had to get 5 sellable images. So there was this little boy, and he was really hard to work with, and we finished the shot. I got my 9th roll out. I go to take the camera out of the film, and it falls to the ground and exposes all the film to the light.
Oh, no.
And the couple, like, the parents were really happy because we finally finished with this difficult little boy, and, like, they just saw it, and they knew, and they looked at the film, and then they looked at me, and I cursed. And then I ran out of the room, like, almost in tears to my manager, and she took care of it. But yeah, it was a bad day.
I was going to say, what do you do? Like, what do you even say in a situation like that?
Somebody else reshot it because I could not.
Luckily, that was like early on in your career.
Never made that mistake again.
Well, there you go.
So now it's time for a fun question. So Kevin and I are big foodies, and we want to know what the best thing you've ever eaten in Vegas on this trip was.
Oh, okay. Vegas, hands down, it's the Mon Ami Gabi restaurant under the Eiffel Tower.
Tell us about this.
Yeah, I had the beef Wellington. The chef there is amazing, but plus the atmosphere where you can look out over the Strip. I haven't been up to the Eiffel Tower, but the one like under is really cool. You can people watch, and it's beautiful.
Oh, man.
Good pro tip. I love it.
What did you have there?
Beef Wellington.
Oh, that's right.
It was good.
Is that it? No apps, no desserts, no apps and desserts happening?
Oh, I think there's a cheesecake. Check out the cheesecake. Yeah,
Nice
it's worth
choice.
it.
Nice choice. Okay, well, you've heard it here. You need to all go to this restaurant, Mon Ami.
Mon Ami Gabi.
Okay.
All right.
At the Paris Hotel. Awesome, Rachel. Well, thank you so much. It was so fun interviewing
Thank you. Pleasure.
Okay, and next up we have Kat Ford Coates. So welcome to the stage, Kat.
Woo!
Woo! Here she comes. She's just fresh off her talk from WPPI today. And a photo walk that sold out.
The catwalk, baby.
Yeah,
Catwalk.
and she has award-winning image. And how many did you enter?
2 silvers.
2 silvers
Two
this
silvers.
round. So let's
Hey.
give it up for Kat. Okay, so Kat, we are in Vegas, which is the land of gambling and taking risks, right?
Yes.
So I want to know, what is the biggest risk that you've ever taken in your photo business?
I bet on myself.
Oh, deep.
Talk
We're going
more about
deep.
that.
Yeah, tell us more.
So when I started my photo business, I was starting that at the same time as I was launching another business, and photo was going to be like that side hustle. And then this other business was going to be like, that's retirement. That's how, okay, awesome. I'm going to survive. And then that business tanked.
Oh.
And it took like 3 years, but it burning down in flames. And I was like, well,
What do I do now?
so I can either go get a job and cross my fingers and hope, or I can bet on me
Yes.
and dive in 150%. And that's when I started with, Sue Bryce Education and went down the 28 days rabbit hole, which has now evolved into the 90-day startup. And that changed the trajectory of my life.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
amazing.
That is awesome.
And I can really relate to that story because I also started my photography business just because I wanted to be an actress and I didn't want to wait tables.
Sure.
And I was like, maybe I could just, I don't know, make $200 on the side for like a photo shoot or something.
Yep.
Maybe, possibly.
They'll pay me for this?
Maybe I could get other actors to do headshots. But I wasn't really at first thinking of it as a serious thing.
Right.
And then, it's like history happens and you realize that that's your passion and the road that you're meant to travel. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about your talk today and what you
Sure.
share
So-
some tips?
Yeah, we talked about how to define your style in portrait photography, like the 10 elements of an image that allow you to sort of pull as levers. So you analyze your work and say, okay, what are the consistent things that I'm seeing, right? Like, do I lean really hard into light or do I lean really hard into posing? And find out what that natural bias is, and then looking at the other pieces of the puzzle, the wardrobe, the texture, the composition, your lens choice. What can you pull to increase and elevate the style that you're creating to tell that story that you're doing with your clients?
I love that. That's really fascinating.
It was you know what? I was really nervous this morning. I was like, it's day 3 in Vegas at WPPI, and I have a talk at 8:30 in the morning. Is anybody going to be alive? And it was really fantastic. Like, we saw standing room, 300 plus.
Oh my
That is
God.
It was. I was like,
Congratulations.
A sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
and then AV went way sideways, and I was like, oh,
No.
well, the pressure's off me. I can just talk and like.
So does that
Do
mean
the
just
thing.
for everyone to clarify, like your slide deck or whatever you
They
have?
had a really hard time mirroring it to the projector. They got it eventually.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
they took the laptop off into the dark and did the thing.
Did some things.
And, but yeah, so you got to see my work from 2012, which was just awful, right? And seeing what those consistencies look like now and 10 years later, and how that evolution sort of took place. It was a really exciting morning.
Oh,
Well,
congratulations. I'm so proud of you. I've known you
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yes,
and
yes.
I'm glad everything went fantastic, aside from
Thank
the AV
you.
issues.
Okay,
So,
Kevin, is it
for
time
the
for
fun-
fun?
It's time for
Time
fun.
for fun.
So,
Give it to
once
me.
again, there's a theme going here with
Yeah.
Ashleigh and I as we
We're
talk a lot about
hungry.
food. We're hungry people. So, big debate in the world of pineapple on pizza.
Yes.
Yay or nay?
Yes, so much yes.
Yes? Right? Right? Yes.
Woo-hoo!
And here's why,
Oh, yes. Tell
right?
me.
So obviously this debate is huge, right?
Yes, of course.
And we have this constant sort of online thing with fine art backdrops.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
Joshua Simmons from Fine Art Backdrops is like, no to pineapple on pizza. All
He's
pineapple
wrong.
on pizza must die. My favorite pizza, and Josh, if you're listening, I'm calling you out. Bacon,
Keep going.
wait for it, pineapple,
Uh-huh.
jalapeno.
Oh, yes,
Oh, you
girl.
lost me at jalapeno.
Yes.
The trifecta, right?
She has me
Sweet,
at
spicy,
jalapeno.
salty.
Okay.
Ugh.
Kevin can't handle spicy food.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't.
What?
Yeah, I
We
know.
can't be friends
I know.
with him anymore.
I grew.
We're all going to eat chips and salsa, the spicy kind. and
I'll
we're
get the
not
mild. It's
Kevin.
all right. It's all right. I'll get the one that's just basically tomato.
They'll get the baby
can have the
tomato
kids
pico
one,
de
Kevin.
gallo on the side, like. Okay.
No, I'm fine with just the bacon, the pineapple, and the ham. That's all I need.
See, I can't do the bacon and the ham. That's too much salt.
I
You gotta
agree.
have the bacon, pineapple, and the jalapeno.
I don't know.
I agree.
Just drink some water. Wash it all down. It's fine.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much,
For
Kat.
sure. Thanks for having me. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Well, next up, we have an award-winning portrait photographer, Barbara Mcferrin. Barbara, come on down. It's like, the price is right over here. Come on down.
Yeah. Ooh. How much would you like to place on this showcase?
I don't know. I don't go shopping that much. I'm like, I don't know, $1?
That's the right answer. Ding, 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 ding. All right, Barbara. What is your style and how did you find it?
All right. Well, my style is inspired by the old master painters of the Baroque and Renaissance periods. And I feel like I've always wanted to be able to paint, and I'm horrible. I can't even draw stick figures. So I guess my way of painting is using the camera, lights, and Photoshop. My dad was a photographer, and he used to paint, and he would always expose me to these beautiful classic paintings, and I just fell in love as a kid, and that just stuck with me. And when I started photography and portrait photography, I always thought I want to take pictures that look like that. So that's just kind of where it started. I never took or did portraits a different way. I always just tried to emulate that style. So.
How long do you think it took for you to really refine and get to the place where, like, now where your level is just so top notch and you're winning awards and all that? Like, how was that that journey for you?
It was relatively, I don't know, I guess it's always kind of evolving, but I feel like I've found my style maybe within a couple, 2 to 3 years after starting. I just kept learning and doing and refining and yeah, but it's always, I still like to learn. I don't want to be like stagnant, but I still always play with lights and see, change it up a bit, or my editing, I just try new things and just see if I can keep changing and evolving, but I don't want to change too much because that's what I love and that's what I'm known for. So.
And that's what like clients know you for as well, and they
because
want to come to you.
They come to me, that's what they want. So they
Do
don't want to be
people-
like, whoa, wait, that's not what I expected.
Yeah. Do people travel from far away to like have this particular like you have such a strong aesthetic?
Yeah, I've had clients travel from out of, not so much like across the world, but I've had clients from other states come out to get
You
their
just got to
photos.
fix your targeting in your Facebook
know,
ads
right?
to other sides. That way,
Change that SEO. No, I've had some, travel, so it means a lot when they want to do that because it's like, wow, that's really cool.
I relate to that. You talking about choosing photography as a way of doing art. Same thing for me. I grew up like with friends around me. Oh, beautiful pencil drawings, and holy crap, is that a picture? Is that a?
Right.
Oh, it's a drawing. Oh, okay, yeah, you're fantastic. And then I start drawing on the piece of paper. I'm like, oh, that doesn't look the same, So choosing photography and do with lighting and just positioning it the right way. It's my way of doing what I couldn't do as a child.
Right. Yeah,
So.
exactly. And I have so many people say, wow, is that a painting? So they kind of have to really look at it. And then I've seen the reverse. I've seen painters out there who can paint and they look like photographs.
Yeah, I've
It's
seen
just
that too, and
amazing.
it's
It blows
like,
me
are
away.
you kidding? That's a painting?
Right. Yeah, it's amazing. It's
Now,
mind-blowing.
do you mostly sell wall art to clients since your work is so, I guess, like fine art, painterly style? To me, it like makes sense more as like wall art.
Yeah, it's a mix. I actually have clients. I don't know if it's geographic but where I live in Colorado, a lot of clients actually don't want wall art. They want pictures of the mountains on their wall. They like the landscapes of nature, and my work is all kind of moody, darker, low key, and a lot of people in that area, or at least where I live, are just not into that. So they'll do the digitals, and maybe they'll do the folio. I do sell the folio boxes.
Foley boxes.
Something small, but they're not into putting their faces on the walls, and I try to talk them into it, but
So I know that your prints are over there at the Pro Print. What is it?
Pro Prints, yeah.
Yep, booth, and they're so huge. So was that just like so? Like, was that one of the first times you've ever seen your prints that big?
I've purchased for myself photos of my daughter from my
Yeah.
and I've had actually clients friend clients come over and be like, look at this, and then, oh wow, and then that might change their mind. So, but no, I haven't seen like that many.
I know you said it was
On the wall.
overwhelming.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
It's
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Okay, well now it's time for our fun question.
All right.
So, WPPI is getting close to being over. So, what is the first thing you want to do when you get home after this trip?
I don't know if that's a fun question.
I guess it depends what you're doing for fun.
We're having fun now, not when we got home.
So
No.
Vegas is a party and back home
Right.
is work.
So if you look in the dictionary and you look up the word introvert, that's me. I am the epitome of introverted. So going home, I'm just going to decompress and hug my daughter. And, I feel like coming to these events are great, but for a lot of introverts like me, it's overwhelming.
Draining.
Yeah.
And just the noise and the people. I mean, it's great. I love seeing people, but I need time to
Decompress.
Yeah, to decompress.
What are you
So
going to be
that's-
doing to decompress? Is it just laying in bed with a book or Netflix?
Probably both, all of the above.
Both of those.
Hang out with my daughter, but then as soon as I get home, I've got shoots booked, so I won't really have a lot of time to really relax. So
I know I have a shoot at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and I leave
right?
right after
Yeah,
this
see?
recording. So wish
and
me
I
luck.
leave I'm gonna have to get up at like 4 in the morning to get to the airport. So now I'm like, why did I pick that early flight?
And I made it a point. I'm flying out later on in the evening.
Maybe I'll decompress on the plane.
Exactly.
Well, thank you
Awesome.
so
Thank
much,
you, guys,
Barbara.
for having
So
me.
great chatting you
Appreciate
it.
two.
Thanks.
All right, next up we have Kristen Fields.
Woo.
Hey, Kristen.
Hello.
Last time I saw you was at the shootout.
Yes.
So good to see you again.
You too.
Okay, so I want to know what was one of the most impactful things that you've done that helped grow your portrait business?
I think it's got to be taking the action, right? Every time you hear your inner voice or you know that there's that opportunity, you have to jump on it and you have to just move no matter how scared you are, no matter how much risk it involves, all that kind of stuff. If you want it, you have to go for it and get it and do the work.
That's so true.
Are there ever any moments, I'm sure there are, but are there any moments where you just find it difficult to continue? Like, you know what? I don't feel like doing this today. And if so, what do you do to knock yourself out of it? Or do you just let it, to have that day?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually quit my day job
Ooh,
in
congratulations.
January.
Nice.
And so now I've found myself, okay, I have to make my own structure, right? And my own schedule and figure out what's going to motivate me and stick to those things or find those structures and those routines. So I rely a lot on those. And then also I listen to my body and my spirit. And if I need to relax, I relax. That's part of that creative process where if we're going to push ourselves too much, then it's like we're trying too hard and we're trying to force it. And while we have to be consistent, I've found for myself that I can't force things, I'm just doing the Cracker Jack, out of the box kind of stuff with my clients. So if there's times when that happens, then I will go look on Instagram for inspirational people. Johnny Edwards always has the best stories
Yes.
with all just full of all these other artists that I feed off of. And I find things like that, or I go look at my photo books, or I go outside for a walk or a run, or something along those lines that just allows me to pause and not be so intent on, oh my God, I have to find the answer now, versus let's just enjoy this process and this creativity that we all have.
I think that in our today's society with the whole entrepreneur, soulpreneur, you're supposed to go.
Right.
And people never take the opportunity for self-care
Yeah.
to really gauge, like, look, you're going to burn yourself out.
Yeah.
You need to take a day, and it's all right to
Right.
take a day. And then once you do, next day, get it going.
Yeah, learning to give yourself the grace and understand what fuels you outside of photography is such a big thing. I live in Idaho, and so I can get out into the mountains. I'm obsessed with spin classes. So
Yes.
like I go almost every day to a spin class, and it's like a meditation. It's like a church for me to go and clear my mind and do all of that, and then I'm ready to go shoot, or I'm ready to plan out what's next.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's so important to move our bodies like in
Yes.
whatever way feels joyful, because we can
Yeah.
get so stuck in chairs editing, or I know we're kind of moving when we're doing photo shoots, but it's not like really like, I don't know, healthful,
Right?
healing
It's like Kat said,
movement.
you're just doing burpees.
Yeah. It's like so it's, yeah, for me too, like I like to dance I go to dance class, and that's like my me time that I can't, like, is non-negotiable for my
Right.
week. And when I take time off, or like when I get so busy with work that I take time off of the dance class, I end up realizing that I'm like more anxious, more bitter, more
Yes.
everything. And then when I finally go back to dance class, I'm like, why did I stop? Like, this is
Yes.
where like I need to be to like rekindle my spirit. So,
Exactly. You have to find those non-negotiables and just make them a commitment, just as you would your own work,
yes.
because that's what's going to fuel your work so that you can get better and you can move forward.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay. So,
A fun question. You just asked that one. You just asked that one. It's my turn. Okay.
okay, kid salsa.
Kids salsa. Oh my.
Oh my God. I mean, she's got a point, Kevin. She's got a point.
Erase this part from the podcast. We don't need that to become a name. So, if you could sit down and have lunch with any educator from the Portrait Master Store or a mentor, who would you sit down with, and what would be for lunch?
Hands down, Kat Ford Coates.
Yes,
Hands
we can
down.
make that happen, maybe.
No, hands down, Kat Ford Coates. And I was going to say Southern food because I'm from Idaho. I've not really spent any time in the South, but I have to agree with her. Her pizza recipe is the ultimate pizza recipe in the world. Like, we're not going back from that. It's going to be the bacon, jalapeno, and pineapple. So
You know-
we'll eat pizza and hang out.
Kat, I love Kat, and she's one of my favorite people in the world. But I think after that part, it just kind of knocked her down just a little bit. I mean, just a tiny bit.
I might say that the kids salsa thing did that for you.
I don't know. I
A
mean,
little bit, but I've got to stand up
Fortunately-
for my girl over there.
Fortunately, there's so many other things that make you so fantastic.
It's
So-
true. It's true. It's true. You've got a lot going for you, Kevin.
Okay, well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you
Kristen. It was
for-
such a joy talking to you.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have Siobhan Jones. Is your last name Jones? Okay, Siobhan Jones. And for those of you who don't know, Siobhan makes the amazing, beautiful wigs that were featured at the Portrait Masters Shootout, at Sarai's booth, and Sarai photographs her wigs a lot, and they work together a lot. And Kat has
Yes.
also gotten a chance to photograph her wigs, and some of you may own her wigs from the shootout. So this is different because we usually talk to photographers, and now we're getting to talk to you in the more styling, wig, hair, art realm, which is so cool.
Yes.
So I was wondering about your process in how you collaborate with photographers to come up with a custom wig for them.
Yeah, so it usually starts with a photographer contacting me and saying, hey, I have these ideas. I've had somebody send me like a picture of a dress or a backdrop or just some kind of like historical reference. And so from that, I just kind of go to town with like, well, okay, let's see what colors we're going to do, what shape we're going to do. Is it going to be big? Do you want it to be like a little smaller and not take over the photo? Like, what's the focal point of it?
Yeah.
And so I'll send sketches or photographs or something along those lines, and we just kind of keep going from there.
So one question I have, because after meeting you, I've gotten kind of like into the idea of a wig, but I haven't taken the leap. But I think for me, it's also because I always, when I like invest in something for my studio, I want to be able to use it more than once.
Yeah,
You know, and some of
for
the
sure.
pieces are so specific that I'm like, how would you use that more than once? So when you're collaborating with a photographer on a custom wig, like, do you keep that in mind? Like, do they talk to you like, how can we make this versatile so it's not just this one concept, but I can
Yes,
actually like.
absolutely. So if they tell me that ahead of time, then I can, make some pieces that are like add-ons. I've had,
Oh,
so like I can make a piece that like might not have any length to it, and then I can give you like some extensions that will specifically clip in under the wig to bring some length to it, or even pieces that bring width to it or height to it.
Oh.
But also, I think a really good example is if you can see a photo that Kat took and a photo that Sarai took of the same wig, and they're totally different.
Yeah.
look.
So it's also, what are you going to do with it? The lighting and the colors that you add to it, the backdrop. So I think that, I can help you out, and you can do a lot yourself.
Yeah. And how do you store the wigs? Because I'm someone who
Yeah.
famously has a small studio. And that's another thing I'm like, I want a giant wig, but where am I going to put this thing?
I know, right? Well, that's where we would want to talk about size of wig. But yeah, I usually recommend getting whenever I send out a wig, it comes on a styrofoam head.
Oh, okay.
And then, I usually send out like a sheer piece of fabric that keeps the dust off of it. So you can kind of tuck it into a corner and it'll stay fine. They're not going to go bad unless you have them in a really humid environment. That's always bad. But so storage is pretty easy.
So what is the wildest requests that you've gotten to get?
Oh my gosh.
I know Saraya's had some pretty interesting looks.
Yeah,
So is it
yeah.
hers, or you had more out of the box type of ideas?
Oh my God. Well, I used to work in theater, so
Ah,
I have done some pretty wild stuff. I worked for Cirque du Soleil.
Oh.
So
wow.
we had to create wigs that not only looked spectacular, but had to stay on through a theatrical, acrobatic performance.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
is it glue? How do they stay on?
Yeah, what goes into that?
yeah, it can vary depending on the show and what they're going to be doing. If they're doing crazy acrobats, there's going to be a chin strap. Yeah, because it could be deadly if
And they
their wig
hide
flew
the
off.
chin
Oh.
strap so you can't see it, or?
Or
You
is it
can
just understood? Yeah.
If you're sitting up front, you would definitely probably
Oh, okay.
see it. I mean, they're usually skin tone, but I mean they cut into you can see the indentation. But I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty understood. That's
crazy
why.
wig.
Part of the
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah. But if you're pretty far back, you would never know. You're like, whoa. But yeah, and then there's other ways with pin. It's all about wig prep and pinning. So.
Wow. And then one last question for
Okay.
you. What has been the most fun thing that you've gotten to do here in Vegas?
Oh my God. Well, I lived here for 5 years.
Oh, okay. So you were doing Cirque
So
du
there's a
Soleil,
lot of
the
stories.
Vegas
Yeah.
Cirque du Soleil.
So this is home for me. I miss living here. I love Las Vegas. And so, of course, it's all about shows if you're on the strip. But I'm huge into outdoors. So I highly recommend, going out to Red Rocks. If you're a climber, it's epic for climbing. Or Black Canyon is epic for kayaking or just hiking. So my favorite thing about Vegas is how it's a city and an outdoor mecca. So you kind of have the best of everything here. I miss living here
that's
so
awesome.
much.
Are there, we might be letting the cat out of the bag here, but are there any hidden gems that you've experienced on the strip that, people need to do that? Eat there, experience this.
Yes. Okay, well oh my gosh, how do you even narrow that down? I think a really classic Las Vegas place to go, is the Peppermill. It is traditional. It's a restaurant and a lounge, and it's been around since the 70s, and it is still, it's walking into a time capsule. So it's not going to be, you're not going for gourmet food or anything like that. You're going for a true Vegas experience, and it's on the strip. So that's really cool. They have a fireside lounge, and all the waitresses wear these long cocktail dresses, and it feels old school. And then if you haven't been to downtown Las Vegas, you definitely need to check that out. Go to the Fremont East District. The downtown cocktail room is one of my favorite places. It's this little tucked away speakeasy, and they make all these specialty cocktails, and you can get as experimental or as safe as you want with it. It's pretty cool.
Well, thank you. That is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've got. If
pro
anybody
tip.
has any questions, I can tell you all kinds of places.
That's fantastic.
Well, thank you
Yeah,
so much,
well,
Siobhan.
thank you for having me.
Next up, we have Missy.
Woo!
Hey. Missy, can
Welcome.
you pronounce your last name for me? 'Cause I'm
It's
not sure.
Gates.
Gates. Okay.
I know it's spelled weird. Gates.
That's okay. My Ashley spelled weird, so. Can you tell us a little bit about your portrait style to start out
Right,
with?
so I am elegant maternity and newborn photographer.
Okay.
So it's usually moody, more expression, to get a really nice connection between the moms and I guess what they're going through.
I love that.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to new photographers starting out in that genre?
Definitely, and this goes for any genre, you have to do the work. You definitely have to do the work. Go around, follow different photographers, get education. That's such a big deal. I mean, definitely, I'm a huge fan of supervised education, which definitely has taken my career to where it's at today. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try new things. Do a lot of free sessions, build your portfolio so that you can find, your groove.
I think that's so important. I was just going to say, I think that's so important to just remember that when you're starting out, you sometimes just need to try a lot of things and figure out what you enjoy and what works for you. And there's no shame in that.
Absolutely.
You're just starting out. You can start at one level and then raise your prices and come in at a pro level, but there's no shame in just being at that bottom level where you're just like, what do I want to do? What's my style? What's my genre? What do I love and feel passionate about doing? And sometimes you can do that in the middle of your career when you're starting over, because I transitioned from, weddings to portrait photography, and I had to build a whole, super ice glamour style portfolio.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's great advice.
And I love the fact that you pointed out doing free sessions, because a lot of people want to start off and in this education, I've learned through the 9-day challenge, people are like, oh, what are my professional standard pricing? I need to start that off now. Well, yes, but you need to get to the level where you're comfortable being able to run the photo shoot. And you don't want to do that when you're charging a client. You want to practice. Get in there just as long as you're taking that mindset of, okay, I'm going to bring a friend over. We're going to just have a grand old time. We're going to sit here and I'm just going to move the lights around and see what I get. I'm going to practice posing, because posing isn't learned overnight, That takes time. And if you're sitting there with the anxiety of, oh my God, this person's paying me, you're going to build it up in your head, and it's not going to go well. So the idea of doing a free shoot or just having friends over, starting with the process of from the beginning, what's the styling, what is the backdrops, how am I going to combine that to make a look, and then being able to transition from the next look to the next look and just see what you can get. In the beginning, you don't even know what you love. So you don't even have a style yet. So how are you going to be at that point where you're charging? It takes a little bit of time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what it does is that it gets you practice, right? So by the time you have to charge a good amount of money, right, where you want to get, you already know what you're doing. So you're sure about telling that customer, this is my price. Mm-hmm. You don't have that insecurity of, I don't know what I'm doing, or, oh my goodness, is this going to come out good? Is the lighting going to be right? Because you've already practiced in all these model calls or freebies, your family. So by the time you get to that actual client that you don't know, you're sure about what you're selling. And believe me, they will buy it. They will buy it because you feel secure about it.
Exactly.
Okay, well, now is the fun one, and it's a repeat question. Sorry.
No. We need to continue this. We need to continue this conversation.
It's an ongoing debate. So we want your opinion. Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
I'm not going to be Kat's answer, right? So, nay.
Oh.
I don't think that pineapple belongs in pizza.
I think we're done here. I think we need to move on.
I knew it. I just really don't think pineapple belongs in pizza. But, for those that do, go for it.
You know what? My idol, David Chang, agrees with you. He's a famous chef, and I listen to his podcast, and he also hates pineapple on pizza. I disagree with him on this, but you're in the company of David Chang, so I would say...
Go, David.
I that would be that's a good thing to be in the company of him, so... All right, well, you've heard it here. There's a portrait system heated debate on pineapple on pizza. Some people are team pineapple, some people aren't.
We have to do an online poll.
I know, right? Well, thank you so so much, Missy.
Thank you, guys. Thank
Give it up
you.
for Missy Gates. Okay, next up we have Steph Grafton. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. I always love seeing your colorful hair.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, well, let's get right into it. I want to know what your superpower in business is.
Okay. My superpower would be connecting with clients. I feel like when they get to me, they have a story to tell, and I either bring that out in their photo shoot or they tell me and I make it come to life in their portraits. So I really love that connection with the clients. I become friends with all of my clients.
You're such a social butterfly, so I'm not surprised that this is your answer.
I feel really introverted. I mean, I'm nervous coming up here, but I mean, I love talking to people. I love getting to know people and their story.
I think that's one of the most powerful things about being a portrait photographer.
Mhm.
Like, why I really liked it more than being a wedding photographer is because you're just one-on-one with that
Yeah.
client, and you really have that period of time during their session to connect with them and hear their story. And some people really trust us with like personal moments of their lives and like really incredible. Like I had one client recently who told the story of like surviving alcoholism and then surviving breast cancer on top of it and losing her dad, like just so much stuff. And I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God. But like, it just,
Yeah.
I was so amazed by her journey, and
Mhm.
it just makes it so much more meaningful when you get to photograph people and hear their stories.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a client recently. She worked in the police force for a long time, so she's very, closed off in her emotions, and she's actually now an intimacy coach, and it's just a total 180. But she's always been the tall girl and, kind of intimidating to people. People don't want to go up and talk to her. But when you get to know her, she's really soft and sweet and genuine, and she could sell you anything, really. But she came to me, and I said, why don't you try this on? And it was this beautiful tulle gown with florals, and she tried it on, and it fit her perfectly. And I said, this was made for you. And when we were in her shoot, she started crying, and I thought, oh my gosh. And she goes, I'm 63 years old, and I finally got to be the princess I never thought I could be. And I mean, it was emotional, it was powerful, and I mean, it still gives me a shake because it was amazing. And then when she watched her reveal video, she just cried, and it was magic all over again.
It's a
Yeah.
beautiful moment.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is why we do what we do.
I know.
And I love working with clients over 50 as well. And like,
Yeah.
I love that woman was 63 and
Yes.
got to experiment. I had a client once, it was kind of early in my career, and she told me after the shoot, she's like, I'm 60 years old and this is the best photo I've had in my entire life. And I remember like just being like, I can't believe that. I mean,
And you
that's
did
a long
that.
time of being photographed, And
Yeah.
like, she was one of my first kind of like evangelist clients. and
Wow.
it just always stuck with me.
Yeah, no, it's great. And then she was my evangelist client. She
Yes.
got all of her friends from New York and Dallas, or not Dallas, Austin, but I mean all over. And it's just amazing how you can grow from just touching someone in that way.
Yes, I love it.
All right, let's hit it with a fun question. What is, well, once again, there's a theme here, folks.
We're hungry people.
Yes, you are. What is the ultimate comfort food?
Ooh. Well, I first have to say pineapple on pizza is great. So since
Okay.
we're going with that theme, I have to say that.
What about spicy food?
Spicy food is amazing. I'm half Mexican, and like it's just ingrained in me.
We're moving
I
on,
know.
folks.
I know. I was like, Kevin, like I audibly went. But yeah, pineapple and jalapeno, great. But I would do pepperoni, but I love the bacon choice too. So anyway, ultimate comfort food, potatoes. Like you cannot go wrong with potatoes.
Good choice.
Mashed potatoes, baked potatoes,
Serious good
sweet
choice
potato fries, like
I don't
French
wait.
fries.
Are sweet potatoes though?
They're called potatoes.
I don't think they're potatoes.
But you really can't go wrong with potatoes.
We don't need to start up
Potatoes.
multiple debates.
Kristen's my buddy. She knows.
Kristen is telling us from the audience as an Idaho expert that
Yes.
potatoes are in fact
We're buddies.
potatoes.
Yeah, she's
So I've been fact checked live.
Yes.
She's like Bubba from Forrest Gump. We got boiled potatoes. We got fried potatoes.
Who did I
French
say that to
fries.
earlier?
Okay, wait. On the potato question, what is the best type of French fry?
So, I have a level of French fries. Okay.
Okay, hit it.
So like, I know maybe they're not considered French fries, but they all go in order. So I like the seasoned potato wedges to start.
Okay,
right?
okay,
Right?
you're all right so far.
A home-style fry, a nice home-style fry, a curly fry,
Oh,
and
you
then it
lost me.
goes a crinkle cut. So that would be my order.
crinkle cut?
Yes, I love crinkle. They're like a meaty potato.
I'm sorry, I have to go with
Yeah.
the shoestring fry as the correct answer.
There's nothing there.
No. The steak cut fries. I just want to let everyone know.
Okay,
That is
Oh,
yeah.
I
yes.
forget about those.
Mhm.
I always add those back in because I forget about them.
Okay, okay.
Now, if you want to know the story of, because I'm getting assaulted with all these
Spicy. It's so spicy.
spicy slander. So, when I was young, my grandfather showed me a particular hand gesture and thought it was funny. And he was like, go show your dad, go show your dad.
Gosh.
And as a punishment, you get a little tiny taste of tapatio. Like, oh no! I ended up not liking it growing up. And then I also learned a particular word, 4-letter. They're like, oh, go tell your dad, go tell your dad. And once again, a little bit of hot sauce. So
what you're
that
saying
is
you need
why.
therapy?
Was that? I probably
therapy?
need therapy. Yes, a little bit. Yeah.
You could still eat spicy food. You just have to have sour cream nearby. Just
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Yeah, I got a
have a
solution
little
for you,
milk?
Kevin.
A little milk. I don't know.
Sour cream. It's got to be sour cream.
How much time we got? I was gonna say a story real quick.
I think we have to move on.
Okay. All right. Okay, we'll move it on. Move it on. To be
Everyone find
continued.
Kevin after the show if you want to hear his personal story.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
guys.
very much.
Okay, next up we have Don Feldman.
Woo!
Hey, welcome.
Thank you.
So I see on your badge that this is your first time at
It is.
WPPI.
I think like 2 of us here got the little badges that say first time at WPPI. Everybody else is like, where did you get that? Like there were 2 of them and we swiped them off a table.
Well, since it's your first time, I want to know like what's been your favorite thing about the conference so far?
Definitely reconnecting with all the people that I know from the Super Ice community. I just feel like it's been, like there's so much stuff to do here. There's the vendor stuff, there's all of the training things, there's all the different, like whatever genre you shoot, there is somebody here that speaks to you about that. But I just think it was like without a second thought that it was like, I am definitely going, like my people are gonna be here and I'm so excited to get to see everybody.
Yeah, I have to agree. The best part is like the happy hour that we had for the portrait system community. That was so fun getting to. I got to meet you, Kenna. I got to meet so many people who are here in this audience, and it was just so fun. Martha, I got to meet you. So yeah, it's just been so fun, like getting to meet everyone here.
Yeah, and it's such a safe space to be here. And you know, if there's anything that you're, you know, internally struggling with your business, there's somebody that you can talk to about it that will help you, you know, kind of bridge whatever you're struggling with to develop your business.
Yeah, that's what I love about this community is everyone's like ready and willing to help, and you can always find a new friend and always find someone to connect with here, and it's the best community. What can I say?
I love you guys.
We love you too.
You know, I echo the sentiment of being able to come here and meet everyone. Last year was my first ever WPPI. I came and I was able to help out with the portrait system booth and everything. And meeting people from the community face to face and just being able to talk to them and see their faces as opposed to being a little bubble online that you just see is so fantastic. And being able to spend time and not necessarily just talk about photography, but to talk about life and what they're doing and what they enjoy. And yeah, I was hooked the moment I experienced it, that when it was announced that we were doing it this year in the time and date, I was like, I have to go. I can't not show up anymore, you know? So, and I feel like I'm going to continue to keep coming and enjoying this time every single year.
I have friends that I met at the first event that I did, which was the Portrait Masters 2020 Live. And so I had jumped on a call when we were doing registration for this event and said, you know, anybody going? And Steph's like, be my roommate. And I'm like, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I love it.
Like it was like, okay, I'm going. Like it was like a 2-second decision. So it was like without a second thought, I'm like, I'm going. It's a safe space. It's going to be the best.
Yeah. Okay, so for outside of seeing all our fabulous Portrait System members, what else have you really, like, what has been the most, like, oh my gosh, this is so cool about WPPI? Like the trade show, the speakers, the photo walks, the live judging.
It's like all the inspiration is great. Seeing all the samples of all of the vendors is great. But for me, I've always said I've been a complete online training junkie. And so I feel a bit like a fangirl, like walking around like, it's like, oh my God, did you see who that is? And like trying to be like, okay, it's okay. Sorry, it's all right.
I remember that. I remember one, I think it must have been like 2012 WPPI. It was the last one I went to. I saw Sue, and I think it was before I met her in person, and I saw her really far away, and I remember being like, and she looked fabulous, of course.
Yes,
And
always.
little did I know how I'd get to know her over the
Right.
years, but
And now we see you and we're like,
that's so surreal. That's hard to believe.
and Kevin.
Me too. Love you all too. So, for the fun question, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? True or false?
It's false. We're taking it all back.
Right.
We're telling everybody about it. We're telling everybody about how awesome it was and that they need to come next time.
Yes, I agree.
Come join us.
Yes, I hope that next year's even bigger and better, and we can really have a huge party next year in
Yes.
Vegas. Did you go to the Cirque du Soleil show last night with everyone?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't either, so I'm not a Cirque du Soleil fan.
You should have.
No, I am a huge theater fan. and
I'm a huge theater fan. I'm not
Yeah.
a Cirque du Soleil.
But I kind of feel like this needs to be a separate trip.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
For like shows needs to be a separate
yeah, there's
trip.
a lot of shows to see here in Vegas.
Yeah,
It's kind
there's
of
so
hard.
much stuff that's happened. It's like I kind of need to have a lie down and think about,
That's why there's next year, right?
Right. It's like, I'll do shows next time.
So, aside from Ashleigh's horrible opinion on the Cirque du Soleil show, the Beatles event was absolutely magical. There's, I believe, around 14 of us that went, and it was an amazing time. And I'm happy I was able to spend that with everyone that was there.
All right. Well, thank you
you.
so much, Dawn. Okay, next we have Angie Witton.
Woo! Woo, 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 woo.
And it's also your first time at WPPI.
It
Angie?
is.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that. This is shocking information to me.
Is it?
You seem like
Okay.
the kind of person who would have been I don't know, you're so social and you're
I am,
You're
yeah.
so a huge supporter
Really?
of the photography community.
Angie doesn't get any happier than this.
Yeah,
like
I
being
know.
around her people, I don't get any happier than this. So I'm super happy to be up here.
I'm so glad that you're up here with us.
Oh, yeah. So, first question is, what is your favorite thing to do at WPPI?
Well, being my first year, I don't think this will be a surprise to anybody that has met me. It is the people. So I am huge on relationships and connection. I love networking. I can see at least a dozen people that I've met this week, and I love people. Outside of that, I got to do Kat's photo walk, which I dubbed the catwalk, and that was incredible.
You came up with that
I did.
signature.
I did. I've been getting a lot of behind the scenes of stuff to send to you to post on the
Yes,
Instagram.
thank you.
So
I'm a little
I just
behind, but I will keep it updated.
no, you're good. But yeah, I love the people. I got to bring my friend and assistant Rebecca with me to this. So it's been incredible. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Did you get to do any of the seminars or the live judging or anything like that?
I did. Yeah, we did the live judging the first day, and that was super. It was fascinating to watch.
I agree.
And
it was intense. It's like the Olympics of photography.
it is, and I was like imposter syndrome downloading. Like it was totally like, oh my gosh, I'll never be there. But
Did you enter an image?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
Being my first time, I had to see it. So I will push my comfort zone, and next time I will enter. I'm saying that out loud to the world so that somebody keeps me accountable for it.
I'll keep
Yeah.
you accountable for that.
Okay, I know you will, Kevin.
Yeah, Rachel Owen, who was our first guest on this like adventure today.
Yes.
She was the one who like pushed me to enter this year, and she was the one who pushed me to come too, because she was like, well, once you enter, you have to go, and then you have to watch your image be judged.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then I've never seen the live judging before, so I had no idea. And I'm just sitting there in the room, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like the most intense.
I know, and
serious.
one of the images that came up, I saw it, and I started crying. I don't know if I've ever had that visceral of a response of seeing an image that I didn't know any of the backstory, I didn't know the photographer, but it hit me. Like, I had like goosebumps and tears, and I was super emotional about it, so I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah, I was just not expecting like how intense the judges look at them, and then how it's hushed in the room, and then
I was
they
waiting for a
announce
little
the
magnifying
score.
glass to come out.
I was like, oh my gosh. And it was really cool.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of like hooked, so I'm definitely
Yeah,
gonna have to.
and
do
your
that.
image was beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Super beautiful.
Thank you.
And just so everyone knows, she won a silver
Yes, she
With
did.
with
I
her
wasn't
first
gonna toot my
entry.
own horn.
Earned
I'll
every
I'll
point.
do that for you.
She earned
do
every
that.
point of that. So yeah, Barbara said that she's like the definition of an introvert. I am absolutely the definition of an extrovert.
Yes,
So,
you are.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
can attest.
I love people.
Okay, well, we are rounding toward the end of our time, so I think it's time for me to ask you the fun question.
Okay.
And this is off the food theme, but what was the last, or your favorite or last TV show that you binged?
Okay, this is a double-pronged question. So my husband loves shows that have death and destruction, and if there's any hope or joy or love, he's not on board for it. So when I was watching with him, we were watching Outlander.
Okay.
I love a man in a kilt. Fun fact, I can't understand a Scottish accent, so we have to watch it with subtitles, which he thinks is hilarious. But I love Jamie, big fan of Jamie, if you're listening. Just in case. Or just in case, right? But yeah, so Outlander if I'm watching with my husband. And then I like shows that show like people meeting up for the first time. So a show called Love is Blind.
Okay.
So these people
Okay.
meet in pods. She's heard it. These people meet in pods, and it's all like they can't see each other, so it takes out the superficial side of it. And they will literally propose in these pods after a week of talking to each other. And then they meet for the first time, and I'm fascinated by the reaction of like, does she think he's hot? Because I'm not sure she's gonna think he's hot. So I love watching like, is he gonna like her? Is she gonna like him? That's fascinating.
You
to
got
me.
your popcorn ready for
I
the
do.
reveal. Oh my! What is she gonna say?
Yeah, and that is like my husband's least favorite kind of show. So
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
for the record, pineapple on pizza, yes.
Okay.
And I'm in for jalapenos
And
too.
what about French fries?
Shoestring,
Oh,
for sure.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ashley and I are on the same page here. Sorry, Kevin, I love you.
All right.
Love you, Kevin. Sorry.
It's all right. I mean, this is America. We could have bad opinions.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. But
Awesome.
that's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I do have to catch a flight, so
Yeah, we need to get her going. So.
I'm literally going to run from here to a cab to my plane and hope I make it back because I have a photo shoot at 10 a.m. I'm a responsible business owner, I swear.
Well, thank you,
Thank you so much. We're so glad you were.
and everyone attending. So.
Yeah, it was so fun. Do this with
This
our
was fun.
beloved community. So thank you again. And tomorrow, Kevin will be flying solo. It will be hard for him to be without me, but
That is true. That is
time
true.
for him to grow his wings.
Fly out. Hopefully the wings are strong enough, and I don't just.
Leave
onto
the nest. So please come watch him, and it will be at 2 p.m. tomorrow, I believe, right, Kevin?
Yeah, it's 2 to 3.
2 p.m. tomorrow. So come watch Kevin. All right, thank you guys.